Incoming transmission.
Hi, everybody. It's Ed. Coming to you this week for Boosting the Signal, and my guest is Michael from the Weird Star Trek merch page on Instagram. Michael, how's it going? It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Been following you for a while, so
I
it's nice to
appreciate that.
finally actually see you. It's always weird, like going to like a convention or something, and like someone recognizes me from the page, and they're just like, "Oh, you're weird Star Trek merch," and then like I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's just like that's my name to this person." Like they don't know me at all, so it's weird when you meet somebody in person that you just like know as like an online personality. So
Yeah.
but it's one of
Well,
the
that's,
nice things about the internet, I guess, bringing like-minded people together. So
oh no, I agree. I
yeah,
mean, I don't go to conventions. That's not something that is in my repertoire, but I'm sure if I did, people would, assume that it's just Star Trek, but I got a lot of other interests, and I'm
yeah,
sure you do as well. It's just kind of one thing, one niche, I guess, hooks you.
yeah.
Um, but I'll ask this question then. What outside of Star Trek is you do you are you interested in? Yeah, it's kind of on my questions. It's offset.
Yeah. Um, I'm like I've always as long far back as I can remember, like I've always like been a collector for some reason, and always like if I get into something, like I want to know everything about it, and I want to like know if there's like what merchandise came out for it, and like I want to know like I want to collect this stuff, and like um I don't know, it's just like the kind of just the way like my brain's always been wired. So like anytime I like get into something, I just like focus in on it for a certain amount of time and just like absorb as
No, I
much
get
knowledge as I can like about it, like kind of like a
it.
Borg, like you assimilate this like property and then find out all like the merch that came out for it and everything. So I don't know. I've always like just always gravitated towards just like collecting things, and so like it started out with like being into like I don't know, shows and movies and collecting. I still collect VHS tapes. I've been collecting tapes for kind of as long as I can remember too. Um, So yeah, I collect tapes, collect figures, collect board games, collect laser discs, collect figures, collect I like Spuds MacKenzie a lot. The old
Oh yeah.
Budweiser. I collect Spuds MacKenzie merch. I have a Spuds MacKenzie tattoo. I have the old like Spuds MacKenzie blow mold that you can buy the different
Oh
costumes
wow.
for, like the different seasons. Just I don't know. I just like I feel like with the way that my brain works, I can't just like collect like general.
Yeah.
I need to kind of just like set rules. And so like with VHS tapes, if I just collected like every movie that I like, I would just like my whole place would just be full of VHS tapes. So I need to like set like weird like rules and boundaries, and like I'll collect these like weird things. And so I guess like an example of that with the tapes. Oh, geez. So have you seen the Dario Argento movie Suspiria?
Actually, I have a couple of acquaintances at this point. I'll refer to them as who are very huge Dario Argento
Yeah.
fans, and I kind of had a thing for his daughter. But anyway,
Uh,
but yeah.
so Suspiria is like one of my favorite movies. So I decided like one thing I would collect would just try to collect as many um, different releases of Suspiria that I can find on VHS. So the only two that came out in America were the Kino Lorber VHS and then the Magnum. So those are
Oh,
just the
okay.
two. Those are the only two American releases. And then is the this is the French release.
Oh, well, I like that.
A
It
little
has the
foil.
actual poster font on that
Yeah.
one.
This is an Italian release. It's Super Video, which is like a different format than normal VHS, but I really love the cover art on that one.
Well, technically, wouldn't I mean it was all in Italian anyways, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that I think I say that's the original. That's a good one.
This is a Australian release.
That's cool.
Um, this is one of the Japanese releases.
Oh wow.
And then these are two more of the Japanese releases. And then the difference between these, this is kind of the more common one. This one was released by Sega.
Oh,
So in like
wow.
the super early '90s, Sega like dipped their toes into releasing, having like VHS distribution, just getting the
Yeah.
license to movies and releasing them. And they released Suspiria at one point, which is one of the few that they released, and they didn't really do well, so they stopped doing it. But so there are a few tapes that Sega actually released, and then this is the German VHS. That's my
Oh,
favorite
that's
one.
cool.
It's
I
got
like that one.
the mother on the front, yeah. But yeah, things like that. I mean, that's like my VHS collection is full of these like microscopic collect or mini collections within the larger collection, which is like with the Star Trek merch too. Like I don't just collect any old Star Trek thing I can find. I like have to put a boundary on myself or else I go crazy. So I just collect like the weirdest stuff I can find or things that I find weird.
No, no, I get that. And I
I don't
appreciate
know
a
if that
lot of.
answers your question. I feel like I went in eight different
No,
directions, but
I love a good tangent. I
yeah,
love a good.
sorry. Well, you're
No,
gonna
no,
get a lot of those. I'm
no,
sorry.
I appreciate them. No, no, some of the things you've shown off on your page and the weird Star Trek merchandise. Sometimes they're very eclectic, and I love that. And
Yeah.
they're very niche. Sometimes I see things I go, oh, I got to go hit eBay and see if I can find that, and um, but I understand, like I'm the same way. Like I collect Star Trek, I collect a lot of different things as well. But and even with Star Trek, I don't buy everything. I'm very picky about what I have, mainly because of money, but
Oh yeah.
also, I like there's certain aspects. I mean, everybody, like I've said recently, everybody treks in their own way, and like I'm not a big Kelvin universe fan, so I try not to
Yeah.
buy the Kelvin stuff, and um, so I can appreciate, and I appreciate. I've gone through your, I like, I've gone back. I've looked at your stuff, and I go, oh man, so many amazing things. I shout out to the most recent one of the most recent posts you had done as at the time of this recording was you in the Star Trek magazine. Looked like you were
Oh
sporting
yeah.
this. Was that legit, or was that? I mean, like you were
No.
actually.
I just made that on my phone. I thought it was funny. I always
Oh,
because I have a very large. I collect magazines too, like
yeah.
horror magazines. I love. I used to write for Fangoria magazine
Okay.
years and years ago at one point, but I've always loved horror too. That's kind of where that was like my first fandom before Star Trek. But
Yeah, I'm
so
a.
I collect.
I understand horror.
Oh yeah, there you go. Lament configuration. Um, so I collect Star Trek magazines too, and I love looking through the old '90s Trek magazines because, like, in the middle they'll have like right at the middle where the staple is, there'll be like 10 pages of like merchandise, like the little mini
Yeah.
catalog for the month. And I love looking at that stuff because a lot of times, like, I'll see something that I've never seen before in there, or it'll just remind me of something that, like, oh yeah, I haven't checked eBay recently for this weird T-shirt or whatever. But I saw the hat and the sweater that I already have, and then I don't know, I was just like kind of mocking the people that do the
I love
poses
it.
and things, yeah, and just put it in there. Thought it was clever.
No, it was really clever, and I really enjoyed that one. I don't know if you've ever seen, but like, I can't say I collect, but I have been a preserver of old articles and news clippings and stuff like that through the years. So like, actually, I have it right here. Okay, so like, this is my Star Trek news clippings. This sucker is full. I mean, I've probably got
Mm-hmm.
7 years worth of stuff in here.
That's awesome.
These are the ones I've already shared as I share them, but I have a lot of adverts for like merchandising and stuff, and I put it in one post one time where I was like, okay, here's a whole bunch of stuff, like, and I was like, "Oh, I have enough to do this like 8, 9 more times, and it's just a matter of finding a time period when it falls into when people would care, uh, but yeah, I love that. I love going reading all these old articles, and I think what about 14-year-old me said I have to
Yeah.
keep these to share them in 2026.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's awesome too because that's the that's like kind of the way that I see like the Star Trek merch, the stuff that I collect too, where it's like I don't know if I'm not going to keep this stuff, like who's going to do it? So like I don't know, like I want to preserve this stuff and like put it out there and be like, hey, did you know that like they released holographic lollipops in 1995 and like maybe a couple of hundred people like see that post I made and they're like, oh wow, that's a thing that existed, and then it just kind of like long live the new flesh, like in Videodrome, like it just goes on and on and on, and like that's how this stuff goes on.
There you go. And that's a great thing too. That's kind of how my figure universe started. It was like I had a friend of mine always looking out for me, and he's like, well, do you have this figure? Do you have this figure? And I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start an Instagram page where I just take pictures of the figures I have, and then that way, all you got to do is go, no, he has that one,
Mhm.
and that was the whole point. That was and then it started into, you know what? Let's do this. Let's share. Let's spread the word. Let's help. Let's inform, and it evolved. And like I'm coming up on very closely doing this for 4 years, and I love it. It's something that's fun. It's like, and then having you on here today is something I truly love because even though you may, let's say, thousands of people know you, there may be millions that don't. And
Mhm.
I'm not by any means a big name and anything else, but if it's out there, eventually someone is going to see this. Someone's going to and
Yeah,
say, "That's somebody I want to know," and I'm boosting, I'm helping, and that's all I want to do.
yeah.
And you know,
I
so.
love like one of my favorite things is like waking up in the morning or if I'm at work later in the day, like getting on Instagram and like looking at your stories because it's like I don't really need to like scroll down my news feed and like find these things because you share everybody's like anything that's like positive going on within like Trek creators or Trek community or anything. Like you're always just sharing everybody, share. So like your stories on Instagram are pretty much just like a nice little recap of the news feed for the day.
I thank you, and I appreciate. I
Yeah, and
try.
like cut on like people that are making custom figures, things like that too. Like that stuff's awesome.
Oh yeah, there's so many
Yeah.
great custom
Mhm.
creators. There's a guy I follow, Mike. Mike makes people. I've tried to get him on the page. It hasn't, or on the podcast. It hasn't worked out yet. But if you ever see his page or anybody else, you should check him out. He doesn't just do Star Trek. He does everything like A Team, Knight Rider, Galactica, everything. And that's not even genre stuff. Just amazing, amazing figures, and they're all like in that GI Joe type scale from like when back in the 80s and stuff, and just does amazing work. And then there, I honestly, if I could, I'd do an entire episode and just get all the custom people on because they're amazing. The biggest problem is not sharing the same people every day. I try to mix it up,
Yeah.
and I have some people that were like, "Well, hey, you haven't shared my thing." I was like, "It's not because I don't care. It's because I'm trying to
Oh
balance, you
yeah.
know."
I mean, yeah. I mean, you don't like you don't owe that to anybody.
No,
So yeah, that makes sense.
but I try to give a
But I
balance.
appreciate it though. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Um, Now, let me ask you this: what is your Star Trek story? How did you come into liking Star Trek? What got you into Star Trek, shall we say?
Um. So I grew up on Long Island, New York.
I've been there.
Um. There you go. And parents, both my parents worked. So my dad worked during the day, mom worked at night, and so my dad, this isn't parenting advice, but my dad just let me watch whatever I want and like let me eat whatever I want. Like I don't know, I thought it was awesome. It probably wasn't great for my development, but I thought it was great. But we had WPIX 11 was the local station that had Star Trek, and they actually had Star Trek. Like they were one of the first stations that picked it up for syndication like back in the day after it like first went. So they'd had it back since the 70s, but in like the mid 80s when like the videotape like big videotape remasters came out, and then it was like a brand new Star Trek to everybody, and that's when it kind of like boomed again in the 80s. WPIX would air it every night, and so I would watch it with my dad like every night. It was like Honeymooners, Odd Couple, and Star Trek. Like that was like that was like the block that we would watch like every night. Honeymooners, I liked. I thought that was funny. Odd Couple, I think I was too young to understand Odd Couple. I didn't really like that at the time. And Star Trek, I loved. Like I looked forward to Star Trek. And at that age, being young, like I just wanted the monsters. Like any episode with an alien, anything like that. Spock was my favorite, just because the pointed ears, and he was the most eloquent creature of anyone on the crew. Um, So yeah, so I loved it. That was how I got super into it. I didn't understand it, just knew that it was weird and wasn't like reality. It was in space and there were creatures, and that was like my earliest memory of getting into Star Trek. And then got older and like we would rent VHS tapes from the local library, and they had um, I can't remember who put them out now. Um, I think the Columbia House like set of the
Oh, okay.
original series VHS tapes, and then I started renting them. And then I saw that they were numbered like one, two, three, four, and I was like, oh, I'm supposed to watch them in this order. And in hindsight, it doesn't really matter really what order you watch them in, but I thought it was like a continuing thing. Like I should do this in order, and that was like my first time like then like going through like the series. And I was always just like I always loved TOS. Like TOS was my favorite show for the longest time. Even then TNG came out. And I was still pretty young at the time, but like I remember even just having this like weird attitude to like this isn't Star Trek. Like this is Star Trek. Like these tapes that I watch, like that's Star Trek. I don't need to watch like a different Star Trek. So I didn't watch TNG when it aired. And then in my teens, DS9 and then Voyager came out, and for whatever reason, I think it just caught me at the right age. I started watching Voyager, and I got really into Voyager. And I think I started watching it because of Tuvok, because I loved Spock so much from the original series, and I was like, oh, there's a Vulcan. And, like I can relate to that. Like I guess I'll give this show a try. And I was in my teens at the time, and just I don't know. I liked Voyager and got really into Voyager. And then got older, had some friends that were like super into TNG. They convinced me to watch that. So I got into TNG and Deep Space Nine kind of later in life, but it was original series and Voyager like growing up. Like those are my two series.
I like that. I it's interesting you mentioned the pointed ears. I remember sharing an article recently where it was someone it was quoted as saying, if there's no Vulcan on the bridge, why do I care? Yeah, it's like maybe that guy was like in both those shows
I
too.
mean, yeah, I mean that was definitely like I feel like that was my mentality with TNG. I was just like, well, where's the Spock character? And like I feel like I was too young to have like thought of it that way, but I kind of think that that's just subconsciously like why
Yeah.
I just like didn't want to watch TNG, because I remember my aunt was super into TNG, so like, and she was over all the time on weekends when it was on, but I just didn't want to watch it.
Hmm.
I don't
Do you
know,
have a favorite Star Trek story that you've gravitated to in all the Star Treks that you've seen?
like of the series.
Yeah, like has there ever
Um,
been a storyline that you just really loved?
I love like I love DS9. And I feel like this is like the cliche of like Trek fan who gets in the DS9 like later in life. I feel like a lot of people like go through that, but I definitely am like I'm guilty. Like DS, I love DS9, and I think one of the things that I love about it is just like these like just like these really fun, unique like character arcs that like aren't seen in other series, like with Nog and with Damar. Like Damar is like one of my favorite arcs. Like
Thank you.
I've never like I can't think of another character that like started out so like vile and like I hated him and like I wanted him to die, and then like by the end of the series you're like I love you Damar, no
I
don't
feel the
die,
same
like you're
way.
completely on his side, like you do a complete like 180 with him, and it's so great.
It is great, and I love it too. And I've said the same thing because by the end, like you think, I mean, the man murdered Zial,
Yeah, the
and
one
then
when you hate Damar, if like for the first time, if your future self came and like told you like, hey, in a couple of years or a couple of seasons, like you're gonna love this guy, you'd be like, no way, there's no way, like this guy could do anything that would make me love him, but they do it and they pull it off.
yeah, yeah, it's good writing. It really
And
is.
Casey Biggs is great too, like as Damar.
Yeah, oh
His
yeah, I
performance is awesome.
hell of a musician too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now, do you have of all of your Star Trek merchandise that you have, do you have a favorite piece? I mean, and that I know that's Sophie's choice,
I
but
know.
is there one that, like, knock on wood, something's happening, earthquake, tornado, whatever, and you have to grab save one. What's your baby?
Um, I guess my favorite the favorite things that I own probably aren't like things that are the most like valuable or like most sought after or like rarest. Like I think my favorite weird I love weird Star Trek merch. I love goofy, like officially produced, like all the motion picture like merchandise and like the weird things they did in the early '90s. I love all that official stuff. But like one of my favorite things is finding weird, unofficial like Star Trek merch. Like because that stuff is like so unique and 9 times out of 10 like an individual like or a group of individuals like produce this thing. It's not Paramount saying
Yeah.
like pogs are hot, let's do Star Trek pogs. It's like some guy like saying like, hey, I want, this is like my passion, like I'm going to do this. And so some of the things that like I love for my collection are unofficial things, and these are things that I came across kind of recently, maybe like 3 years ago or so. Like I found a guy online selling T-shirts, and he sold me a couple of Star Trek shirts. And if you want a free tip, if somebody sells you something online, it's not going to hurt to ask them, hey, do you have any more Star Trek stuff? Because there's a
Yeah.
chance they might have more stuff that they don't have on their eBay store or in whatever the auction website, or if you went to a store and they had a few things out, say, hey, do you have any more Star Trek figures in the back or something? A lot of times, like they don't think Star Trek sells, so they don't have all their stuff in plain sight, online or otherwise. And that's a free tip. So I asked the guy, hey, do you have any more Star Trek shirts? And he said, hold on, let me see. And he was going through some stuff and he was like, yeah, I have these. And I was going to list them in a special like auction because they're different than these. So what they are two airbrushed Star Trek shirts from 1994. This is one of them.
Oh
It's
wow.
work
He
from
is not a merry man.
yeah, and so it's either Juice or Bruce from 1994. I haven't decided, but
It
it's
looks like
a
Bruce.
I've
I would
seen
say
other
Bruce.
Bruce, or it could be Juice, but yes, but yeah, I don't see the down on the eye. So Bruce in 1994, and I've seen other airbrush shirts by this artist, and I think it says like SoCal artist or something like that. So this was somebody who did airbrushing in California in the '90s. And so
Wow.
this one, and then this Deanna Troy one is
Oh, that's
another one.
pretty.
Yeah.
That's
And
nice.
so I don't know. I've never seen these like anywhere else. So like to the best of my knowledge, like these are the only ones that exist that like this person Bruce in 1994 made. So like
That,
stuff like that is like my favorite kind of stuff. And like fanzines, I'm like super into fanzines.
well,
Like,
did you see the fan club magazine I shared yesterday?
mhm.
And that was one I had never seen. And just for anybody that is watching, yeah, a buddy of mine found this
Yeah.
down in Austin, Texas, at a comic book shop, just sitting there. And I thought it was really interesting. It does not have every TOS episode. It's missing the last two episodes of TOS for some reason, even though it was made 10 years after the show ended.
Mhm.
But it's like, all right, well, you just maybe they really didn't like those episodes. But yeah, and you never know where you're gonna get things. Like and you're right about asking about people and
Yeah.
asking for things. That is very, very true. A
I
couple of
mean, if
years
it's
ago,
if you're at Target, I'm not saying
no,
go like
no,
annoy the guy that's like sitting there like trying to just like mind his own business and do his job. But if it's their stock at their collectible store.
although
But
I will
yeah,
say about Target, I will say this about Target. Um, my wife and I used to be pretty heavy into Funko Pops. We have a few still, but we were looking for something. I think it was a Star Wars pop. It was a Qui-Gon Jinn was a Target exclusive at the time. It doesn't matter. But the point is, we went to a Target, and down on the bottom, way in the back, there was an old Picard and a Locutus of Borg pop from like 2012 that had been there for 4 years, just sitting there. And I'm like, holy crap. So, yeah, you never know, and you never know when things are going to pop up. Um, but yeah, but anyways, now let me ask you this. We've touched on the fact that you do collect a lot of different things and you have a lot of different niche collections, and that's great. But what is one thing that would surprise people? Like, I mean, people that know you pretty well, but what's something that might surprise people
That might.
that you collect, I should say.
Oh,
What's
okay.
something that you collect? It was like,
Um,
what? It's like I once killed a man in Germany just to see him. I don't.
um, I don't know. So like, I guess like the VHS tapes. I don't know. I
Okay.
guess I kind of answered that question with the
Well, yeah,
VHS tapes.
I wondered if you kind of answered that question
Yeah,
before I asked, but
yeah.
I figured I'd still ask just in
Okay.
case. You could have been stamp collection. I didn't know. It's like random stamps.
I do have I did knock this over before when I was setting up. Here's a bonus item. It's a 2000 box of WCW Bret Hart cereal.
Oh, hell
Still
yeah!
sealed.
I
So
love Hitman.
there.
I'm a
I don't know
Bret
if that
Hart guy.
I don't know if that
Yes, there is.
surprises anyone that I have that. It probably shouldn't surprise you at this point, but
I can't reach my Bret Hart stuff, but yeah, I love Bret Hart. I'm into wrestling too. I love pro
yeah.
wrestling.
Yeah, I grew up in like the time to love wrestling, so definitely.
Now, okay, so
I
I'll
used
ask a
to
rest.
I used to you remember the old little plastic Hasbro figures
Oh,
from
I
the
still have
80s,
mine.
early 90s? Yeah. I used to so I had the I didn't watch TNG, but that didn't stop me from buying the or getting my dad to buy me the TNG figures, Playmates figures at Toys R Us just because I wanted Star Trek figures. But I bought the transporter, the one that makes the figures disappear, and so I got that. And I remember putting my Hasbro's in there, and I would have like a wrestling match with them, and the loser would like get like teleported in the space. So like after they lost, they would have to go in the Playmates teleporter, and I would make them
See,
disappear.
that's the ultimate loser leaves town match.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love it.
there you go.
I yeah, I still have all my Hasbro figures and stuff like that. And um
You
there's
have the green cards. You got the one, two, three,
no,
four, and all
none
that.
of them are carded. None of them are carded.
No,
Everything's
no, but the
loose.
like the last series, like the one, two,
No,
three kid,
no,
like the
definitely
really
not.
rare ones.
No,
Coda, like
definitely
Evil
not.
Crush, Yokozuna,
No.
Smoking
No.
Guns. I think that was it.
When those were coming out, I was turning about 8. I was probably 17, 18, and I started focusing on girls. And I was like, and I hate it.
Yeah,
I hate it.
I just continued watching muscular dudes in their underwear on TV.
Well,
That's what I did.
I do that every Wednesday night. Don't
Yeah,
get me wrong. Um, but
that's where it's
yeah,
at. You're missing out.
um, yeah. One of my wrestling stuff. I mean, my biggest pieces I have would be I have like I've got it's over here. I'll send you a picture of it later. But I have the Survivor Series chair. I went
Nice.
to Survivor Series pay-per-view a couple of years back, and I love that they give you the chairs. I think that's one of my favorite
Yeah.
things. I feel bad for the ones that go all the time and they have so many chairs. But
All right, so this wasn't. I'm going to tell everyone watching this was not planned, but so the chair that I'm sitting in right now is
uh-oh.
from ECW One Night Stand that I went to
Ooh,
when I lived in New York in
ooh, that was the
2006.
one where the
Rob
if
Van
Cena
Dam beat
wins.
John Cena, yeah, for the
Yeah,
title.
that was such a good night. That was such a good one.
Yeah,
The the Survivor Series I went to was the one after Cena got stabbed by Carlito and he chased after Carlito and like ran him off and stuff and they fought backstage. But like we got to see Guerrero, Benoit, a whole bunch of things. We got to see so many good ones. So it was, and like I went through the list. It's like 14 people are dead from that show now.
oh yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
but um, so now you said you went to New York and everything else for that. So where's your favorite place you've ever trekked to?
Uh, a
Like something like that.
hundred million thousand billion percent. Trek Condoroga, the Star Trek tour in upstate New York. Speaking of New York, that is like I don't like I can't say without cursing like that is like a experience. Like it's so good. It's like really it's like the I thought I knew what surreal felt like, but like when you like step onto over the threshold like into the set that they recreated, it's like it's one of the most surreal experiences I've ever had. Like being, it's like you just walked into like your TV when you're a kid, like growing up, like watching TOS. It's like it's unreal, like the amount of detail and time and love and energy that was like put into that recreation of the TOS sets.
That's definitely on my wish list of places I
Yeah,
would love to
I
go.
if you're like a big fan of Star Trek, of TOS, of like 60s set designs, whatever, like it's amazing. Like down to the detail of he if you get the tour with somebody that works there, but when you go for Trek Condorogo, which is their like biannual, I think, little like Trek meetup, because they'll always get like Shatner there, or Gates McFadden goes, or Brent Spine, or somebody's there. But you can get a tour from James Cawley, the guy who created it all, and he'll just tell you about like everything, and he'll take extra time to like explain what everything is, and like everything, like he got the original schematics and blueprints to the original sets, and like recreated them to the best of his ability, and is still at this time like sourcing the pieces that he needs to like replace the replicas that he has. But it's down to the detail of like the lenses that they stand on the transporter pads are in real life what they were, or they're like lenses for like lighthouse lights
Oh
that were
wow.
made in like the late 1800s or something like that. Don't quote me as like that's exactly what it is, but it's something akin, adjacent to that.
Yeah.
And then so he finds that out, and then he tries to contact like the original, find out who the manufacturer of those were in the late 1800s, if there's any way to find out if there's stock of it anywhere, and then checking auction houses. And he eventually buys the whatever, six of them or however many he needs. And those are, when you go on the set tour, like those original like lenses are the exact same model and everything lenses that they used on the original set. So
Oh
everything
wow.
is like to the best of his ability, like down to the buttons on Scotty's pads, everything. It's all, he tries to get the original like actual product or recreate it to the best of his ability that they used at the time.
Yeah, the pictures are amazing. I've
Yeah,
seen
it's
so
insane.
I know the like if it was if it was like 20 years ago in my youth, when younger, no problem would have made the drive. I mean, like I said, I've been to Long Island. I used to make the drive to Long Island a lot, and I'm here in Ohio, so it
Mhm.
was like 10-hour drive, you know. But I was dating a girl there in Long Island, so I would make it a point to be there every weekend. And now I think, man, like if I would have known about a place like that then, something like that, I would, because I know it's off the beaten path. I know, like,
Yeah,
from what I
it's
understand, it's like a good drive even from Manhattan.
yeah. So what I had to do was fly. So I flew because I'm down in Virginia now, but like my parents and everybody is, or they're still on Long Island. Also, it's on Long Island, not in Long Island. I wouldn't be a Long Islander if I didn't correct you. I'm sorry. I apologize.
That's okay. It's okay. I
But
deserved it.
so I flew there when I went. I mean, like 3 4 years ago at this point. But I had to fly into Boston, and then from Boston, I had to take a little like pedal jumper plane, puddle jumper, whatever it's
Puddle
called,
jumper. Yeah.
puddle jumper, yeah, to Vermont, and that was like terrifying. Cause I'd never been on a little plane like that, and you can just like see what the pilot sees, and it looks
Yeah.
like nothing but clouds, and you're like, we're gonna die. It felt like the Twilight Zone. But anyway, you take
Was it a
that into
Cessna?
yeah,
Those are my favorite planes.
take that into Vermont, and then from Vermont we had to rent a car and drive maybe like 45 minutes to get to it. And
Yeah.
it's like all the way like upstate New York, right next to Vermont. But yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It's and it's a fun town too, because it's like a it's the kind of town that you would think this Star Trek tour like that would be in, because it feels like it's like Leave It to Beaver, like still in the 60s, like in a sense, like very like everything's very like suspiciously wholesome, but I think it's just genuinely wholesome. It's weird.
Well, that is nice.
Oh
I
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
I but yeah, yeah, I'd love to make it up there. I really do. I really would. There's a few places, even like here, I live in Ohio, and we have up in Sandusky at the mall, there is the Federation headquarters store that they have
Mm.
there. I don't know if
Oh
you've
yeah,
seen
I
it.
saw pictures of that. I thought that was kind of strange. Why is it there?
I don't know. I don't know.
That's a weird spot for it. I was wondering like why they picked there. If that's
I
like a test.
literally go to Sandusky 6 times a year, and
What
I've
else is
still
in there?
in the mall.
Well,
It's
it's just
pretty.
in that area. Like, is there anything there? I don't really know much
Um,
about that area of
what
Ohio.
is it? There's as Hold on a second. I'm gonna pause our recording for a second.
Are you?
It's Cedar Point. Cedar Point is in Sandusky. That's going to be the weirdest cut on this podcast ever. But but yeah, like we go up there. My in-laws live in that area, so like, and I always say I want to go there. I want to go there, and I never go there. And a lot of it just comes down to timing, and a lot of times I'll go there and they're not open, and it's like, oh, and because it's holidays or whatever the case may be, and but the place is nice. My niece has gone in there and she's like taking pictures of everything for me, and like when the Christmas time comes, she's like, okay, she'll take pictures of walls and she's like, circle the things you need. It's like, okay, yeah.
So
But
I guess it's like a heavy traffic area then.
oh yeah, oh yeah,
So
it's a
that's
busy
a
town.
okay.
Yeah, and then you've got was it Wolf Lodge? Great Wolf Lodge. They've got a big Great Wolf Lodge there, and it's like a man, I want to say it's like a hotel, but the inside of it has a water slide built inside of it. So like you go be on the top floor and you could take this water slide and go through the whole damn building. And
Yeah, I feel like there's a place like that that they built on the Jersey Turnpike going into
yeah,
New York.
it's
That
possible.
yeah, it's like a similar thing, but yeah.
So yeah, it's a nice town, and Federation headquarters is like, I think if I ever do go there, I'm gonna do an entire episode of the podcast there. Like
Mhm.
I'm just, shoot everything and advertise it. They've thrown out the like invites. I've seen other people been invited. I've seen celebrities going in there all the time. It's just, you know, and it's a weird place. I don't know Sandusky why, but they are. Do you follow the German Kirk on Instagram?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
I
yes.
seen that he had made the trip over and he went there. And so, I mean, if you're coming all the way from Germany,
Yeah.
then, that's pretty good. But speaking of things in stores like that, let me ask you, is there anything collectible wise that has eluded you? Something that Star Trek collection wise, or anything for that matter, that has eluded you that you've said, that's my great white whale.
Um. So there are things that I'm after that I mean, I guess inherently in being a collector, like there's a competitiveness to that. So I don't want to tell you everything that I
No, I
want
get it.
that I know about that's out there that other people don't know about and is going to be listed and then
Okay.
hopefully nobody else sees it. But something that I will tell you is something that is I know is sought after. So me telling everybody probably isn't going to change how much it goes for, and it sells for too much. So I probably will never own it, but I really want it. Um, in 1999, maybe 1998, uh, Hamilton collection, I believe, Bradford Exchange, one of those like weird. What was the other one? Bradford Exchange, Hamilton Company, and then
The
uh,
Mint, something Mint,
Franklin
wasn't it?
Mint. Franklin Mint. Yeah,
Franklin Mint. Yeah, that's
just
it.
these weird like companies that like who gives them the right to like produce like high end collectibles that are like already worth money? Like that's not fair. You're supposed to buy something cheap and then it like becomes collectible. Like who are they to say things are collectible? But they did a good job at it because I like all their stuff. But one of those, I think Franklin Mint, not Franklin Mint, I think Hamilton Collection in '98 or '99. Made a replica of the Klingon gavel from Undiscovered Country, Star Trek 6.
Oh,
So it's like the Klingon claw, and it's like cut off here, and it's like full size, and then it's got this big like globe in its hand that I don't know if that's supposed to be Kronos or a planet or what it is, but it's got the big thing, and it's just they made a replica of that, and that's the gavel from there. I don't know how much it was when it first came out, but I mean, knowing their prices around then, it couldn't have been more than like $200 probably to buy one of those when it came out. But the last one that sold complete, I haven't seen a complete one in like 3 years come up for sale. And when it did, it sold for like over $500.
Wow.
And I want that gavel, but I'm not going to pay $500 for it. But then just last year, somebody listed one, but it was missing the sphere. It was
Mm.
just the Klingon claw. And I bid on it, and I didn't bid that. I bid maybe like close to $100 on it because I was like, it's not complete, but like if I can get this, like it'd be cool to have that part of it. But that even that just ended up selling for like over $200, $250 or something. So I was just like, I probably am never going to own this thing.
Okay, so here's a question for you, because this was very literally on my mind 2 days ago.
Mm.
Um, I was rewatching, I've been watching Enterprise back through for the 25th anniversary, and I hit the episode Judgment
Yeah,
when
yeah,
Archer went to Uropente and stuff, and he was on trial. And the judge had the same thing. And I
yeah,
remember looking at it, and I'm thinking, is that a glove? Is it a glove that he's wearing? Because the one in that, I mean, it looks like it's a metal, thing with a metal ball,
yeah.
and you see him slamming it down like a gavel, but is it in a glove form or was he
Yes,
holding?
I think what it is yeah, I think you hold on to it, but I don't know if your fingers like go into where the claw part is because see they do that's the way that they hold it. I don't know if he's
Yeah.
just gripping it from the top or the fingers go in it, but I always imagine it's kind of a thing where you go in it over the fingers and they slam it down.
Yeah, that because I literally thought that. I'm watching the episode and I'm like, okay, is that a glove? And I'm going through trivia, I'm looking things up about it. I couldn't find anything. And but ironically, as much as I was searching, I did not see any of them being sold anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't pop up in my search parameters, but nor did I even give it thought. But that's awesome. I love that, and I especially love
Yeah,
that. I was
that
thinking
that's
about
and
that.
that is like right down my alley or my back alley, I guess. Of like that's weird Star Trek merch that I want. Like that is
No,
it's just like a weird reference to like a movie, and it's a movie that I love, and like I love the Klingons, so like everything about it clicks for that.
Star Trek Six. I have so many great memories from that movie. My favorite one is every time I'd watch it, it would always be at night. My parents would be asleep. They'd be upstairs, and I'd watch it, and I'd get to that part where Spock's doing the mind meld on Valeris, and
Mhm.
I'd know turn it down, turn it down, turn it down, because it just sounds like I'm watching something really
Yeah.
inappropriate at that moment, and I didn't need them coming down. What are you watching? But I love that movie. I'm probably gonna have to watch that tonight now. But
What
yeah,
is
I
that? What's your favorite Star Trek movie?
I gotta go Wrath of Khan. I mean, I'm a
Mhm.
Wrath of
Yeah.
Khan guy. I mean, and it's cliched to say it. I realize.
I
Um,
mean, it's cliche, but it's the best. I'll say it's not my favorite, but I'll say it is the best Star Trek movie.
I have a kind of. I mean, every movie
In
has.
in terms of like well made, like I don't know,
Well,
everything about it, it's hard to find like I'm not saying it's the best like in terms of like holding the ideals of Star Trek, but it's the best in terms of like if you're gonna like show people like a movie and base it on just like filmmaking process, storytelling, like effects, like everything, acting. It's the best film that has the Star Trek name attached to it. I guess is what I'm saying.
2 and 6. I have to go 2 and 6 are definitely up there. And as much as I say I don't like the Kelvin universe, I do love Star Trek Beyond. Star Trek
Uh,
Beyond
yeah,
is
Beyond's the best one, but I
yeah.
still don't like. I don't love that, but I think
No,
I love Beyond just because it's kind of it feels like it's like a throwback to just like a classic standalone story.
yeah.
Like it's not like we don't need to like reintroduce you to Kirk and Spock meeting for the first time for like the 7 millionth time or anything. It's like these characters like here they're gonna do like a fun little adventure. So
Yeah.
I
Well,
appreciate it for that aspect. And that's, I'm sorry that I keep cutting you off, but that's one of the reasons that I love Insurrection. And people don't like Insurrection, but like Insurrection's just like, it's like a fun little episode. Like it's comforting. Like I understand that like when Star Trek like goes to the big screen, like everything needs to be like times 10. Like that's why like First Contact is like such a great movie because it's like Star Trek on the big screen, like, but it's not a good Star Trek movie. Like it's just a really good movie. But Insurrection is just it's sweet and it's comforting and it's like kind of low stakes like the whole time. Like I don't know, it's just like it's a very cozy movie to me. Insurrection, I like
no,
that one
I
a lot.
agree 1,000% plus two. I love Insurrection. I do not like Nemesis.
No, I
But
hate Nemesis.
yeah,
That is my least favorite.
yeah,
Well, let me think about that. Yeah, that's no. I Into Darkness might be my least favorite Star Trek movie.
I would watch Nemesis before I'd watch Into Darkness
Yeah,
again.
Into Darkness is probably my least favorite. I'm sorry. I am the. I'm not. I don't want to make this seem like I'm a negative Star Trek fan. I'm not at
No,
all. I love most 99.99% of Star Trek, but if you let me speak hate just for a second, I hate Into Darkness and Nemesis. Into Darkness more.
no, I get it. Like I said, we all trek in our own way. It's okay. There's people out there that don't like Section 31 as a film. I thought it was okay. I mean, I'm never going to say, hey, let's watch Section 31.
You
But
know,
at the same time, when it was on, I'm like, okay, this is a different corner of the Star Trek universe. I'm learning something. I enjoyed it for what it was. I enjoyed the comic book that came out before it. I mean, like the prequel comic, it gives you a little more gravitas towards the characters. I enjoyed that, but I like Insurrection. And if you ever want to truly hate Nemesis, watch it with the commentary. Listen to the director commentary, just so
oh
you
no.
can understand how terrible Stuart Baird truly is. Um, so
Um, yeah, I like I don't know. This is maybe another tangent, but like I feel like I feel like and this is just like observation. I may be completely like off base, but like I feel like there's like a lot of people that like it's hard to say online that like you don't like something and then everybody like takes it personal. And it's like I sorry, I froze up for a second.
no,
I understand like being defensive about the thing you like, but like people just like turn it around to like then like insulting somebody back about something, and it's like I don't know if somebody doesn't like the thing that I like my first reaction is like, why don't you like it? And like maybe I can convince them like why I like it, or maybe like they can convince me that it's maybe not as good as like I not as good as I think it is, but like maybe there's a something about it like I didn't see, and maybe that'll change my opinion on it. Like I don't know, like it's just like I don't know if it's like this is a much deeper conversation than for this podcast, but like
no, no, you're right
um
on. You're right in the
but
right
yeah,
ballpark.
I just feel like why does everybody want to like just like be mean to each other? It's like it's a basic thing, like just like I don't know, like I don't like there's like there are things about modern Star Trek I like. There are things about modern Star Trek I don't like. There are a lot of things about modern Star Trek that like I accept like that it's not really like made with like me in mind, and like maybe I shouldn't care really that much about it. Even though I love Star Trek, like if this isn't made for me, like I'm not gonna put so much like effort into like hating it and like getting mad at the people that do like it. But also like if I do like it, I'm not gonna like put so much time and effort into like getting mad at the people that don't like it just because they don't like it and they have a different opinion than me. I don't know. It's like
No, that's a
just
really good
like
way to be.
yeah, just ask someone like why they don't like it, and then I don't know, let it
It's
go.
it's like if someone doesn't agree with you on an opinion of anything, the worst offenders of something like that are the people that, like you said, you want them to explain to you why, but instead they get angry. And like, I don't know if you've ever had this, but I've had this where they get
Yeah.
angry, and instead of trying to explain to me why they think I'm wrong, they're angry and then they stop the conversation. And it's like, I'm willing to have a conversation with you. I'm willing to hear your insane dribble. But, at the same time, I want you to explain to me. And the best, this is my, if I may, for a moment, um, my best example of Star Trek uh, opinion change was most recently season three, Strange New Worlds, four and a half Vulcans. And when I first watched it, I thought, okay, this was a fun episode. I truly enjoyed it. And I was like, this is great. That was fun. It was funny. And then I ended up seeing Giraffe's post about, if I don't know if you follow her or know who she is, but Giraffe had made a statement and explaining how it was insulting to people of mixed heritage and stuff as this. And her words, like, I welled up because I thought, oh my God, like, I should not have liked this episode, and it made me reevaluate my thoughts, my opinion, and it and I enjoy that, and I respect it, and it taught me, and that's all I ask from people is have a conversation, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And no, and I appreciate this conversation. I've had a really good time getting to know you, and I appreciate your time on here. And I'm not going to keep you much longer. I will say this: I'm
It's
going to give
fine.
you a moment to let everybody know where they can find you and where they should follow you.
I guess the only real place is just at Weird Star Trek merch on Instagram. Um, I haven't really done much anything else. I have like things that I've like wanted to do, but like I have a lot of things that I want to do in terms of like art projects and things. So like that's just like parts of my life that are um need to be gotten to. But if I ever do get to the Star Trek stuff, I always I talked about how much I love collecting VHS tapes. And I used to be into um, I started getting paychecks. I worked at a movie theater when I was 16. I started getting paychecks right at the tail end of when VHS transitioned to DVD. So like I was still there at the end of like the tape trading, and I used to love buying wrestling like compilation tapes. I would get them from like RF Video and places like that, like the best of Japanese death matches, like FMW, like weird things like that. And so like I've always loved these like, and this if you want, this is another little peek into my brain that I never even like made the connection of until just now. But like I think I love that kind of stuff for the same reason that like I love all these boxes of like Star Trek fanzines and like the airbrush t-shirts because like it's individual made these things for me. They curated this thing of in the passion that they love, um that the thing that they're passionate about. And I don't know, buying these mixtapes felt more like a personal thing that I'm watching that somebody made than if I just bought like Coliseum videos, like best of WWF SummerSlam or King of the
Yeah.
Ring, whatever. I was trying to think of like a more obscure pay per view, and then I blanked. That's why the Wrestling Classic. There we go.
Well,
With
yeah, the
the
wrestling classic from
with the Rolls
'92.
Royce and
Yeah.
Lord Alfred Hayes presents the Rolls Royce. God, where was I going? But yeah, so I used to love these like the mixtapes and stuff. So I've made mixtapes before. I've made a couple like wrestling themed mixtapes that I used to sell. One of them was Halloween theme. I love Halloween. I collect a lot of Halloween stuff too, like old blow molds and
Yeah.
the die cut decorations for, like from when I was a kid in like 80s, 90s. Um, but I made a mixtape years and years ago that was all Halloween themed like wrestling clips and like matches and things like that. Um, and so I wanted to for a while make like a weird Star Trek mixtape, and just have clips of like weird old like interviews or like promos or weird old commercials. There's footage on YouTube of when they tried Star Trek on ice, and it's like dancers like skating around to like the TNG theme, and this was like somebody's camcorder footage from like the early '90s. Just weird things like that that like I don't know, you can put on like back what was that? What were those like CKY and like those mixtapes?
Oh,
Like you would
okay,
just
yeah,
buy like all
yeah.
skits that somebody made, put them on in the background like when you're partying. I wanted to make like some kind of Star Trek themed thing of that,
I hope
just
you
like a big
do.
mix. And yeah, so something like that. And I save um, clips and things like that, and I've been putting some stuff together. I just haven't assembled anything or thought of like a format or anything like that. But that's something I wanted to do. And then I've also been talking with a friend of mine, Luna in Philly, who used to do the Bar Trek up there. But we've been talking for a while about doing some kind of like quarterly or bi-yearly like Star Trek fanzine and like getting people to like write stories or like if anyone wants to write articles or things like that and just kind of compiling it together of like just a bunch of like Star Trek fans like voices that you could just like it'd be fun I think just because I'm such a big fan of like magazines and preserving like that bit of like culture and history. It'd be fun to have people write and draw and create whatever like Star Trek themed, and like the only way that you can get it is like in this fanzine in the mail. It's not something that we're gonna like post online or things like that. I mean, people get them and they could always scan things or whatever, but like I don't know, it's nice to like think of things that only exist like in this
Physically.
physical form. Yeah, in an age where like everything is digital.
I dig that. I dig that idea a lot. I want to touch base on the wrestling thing. I still have all of my wrestling stuff as well, like DVDs. I have like a few of the VHSs still, but not a lot. But when it comes to wrestling, like my biggest thing was when they did the network and everything
Mm-hmm.
was digital
Oh
and
yeah.
people started selling off their collections. It was like, no, 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 because it gave them the option to change music, to change
Yeah,
font
all that stuff is
options.
like hacked up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Even like if you watch the ECW ones, like New Jack's, they didn't have the rights to any of that music. So like
Yep.
New Jack's theme and like Enter Sandman's all changed. And then when they were putting out the DVDs too, that's another reason the VHS is a good thing to keep hang on to. Like when they put out the DVDs, originally they cut out Jesse Ventura when he was like suing them or whatever
Yep.
when they're mad at him. Like all of his commentary was just gone, and so if you bought those DVDs, it wasn't there. But he's on the VHS, so like that's the original closest thing to the original broadcast from like the 80s and the 90s that you can get.
Even
So there's
some of the
I mean and all that stuff. I mean it's cool that people preserve that stuff online, so like everybody like has access to it. I love that, but like I don't know, there's nothing like I don't know, owning like the physical
owning it.
thing.
Yeah,
I
I
sound
get
like
it.
a creepy like old man addict, but I don't
No,
know addict,
no, I
but
get
like
it.
I don't know. Yeah,
No,
I
I
just
get it. I
like
mean,
I don't think I'll ever like shake that feeling of like just wanting the physical things like in my hand. It's great to look at things online like. The things I can't afford to collect, I love looking at them in other people's collections. Like I love looking at pictures of them. I still care about them, but like I want it as my own though. Like
yeah, well,
I
that's like
don't know.
the Benoit ending of
Yeah, they
WrestleMania
cut him out
20.
of everything too. Yeah.
I have so many copies of that because every time like we see it, I'm like, we have to buy that. And they're like, why?
Mhm.
Because you can't get it anywhere. It's like,
Mhm.
like if somebody wants it, that ending is gone. That Guerrero and Benoit at the end, that you don't see that anymore. I mean, that's I
Yeah,
understand the reasonings, but man, it was a moment. It was a moment.
yeah. There's
So,
definitely something to be said for like the internet being a great um
tool.
collection of like knowledge and history and like in terms of like pop culture and like preserving
Right.
things and like you get a tape and there's people preserve commercials like on YouTube, anything that like you remember from when you were a kid, like hey I remember this commercial and it's probably on YouTube, but like there's something to be said for the things that just like they're just like lost, like there's a lot of
Yeah.
things that are just gone that you can't like get anymore. And
No.
I think there's still a dedicated group of like weirdos out there that are still like just buying people's like recorded like TV tapes and things like that and scanning through them and like seeing if like those things like aren't online yet, like original broadcasts of like movies and things like that. I don't know.
I still
It's
have
interesting. It's something
it.
that I have like 10% of my brain capacity that I put towards it, but I don't know. It's fascinating. Like I don't know. I think I start to like get into a little bit of a wormhole when I think about it too much. But all the stuff that is lost, And I know I should be focusing on all the stuff that we have, but still, I think that's the collector in me too. That like I own all this, but like I still think about that gavel that I want. Like, why don't I have that gavel? But then
You
if I
got
get the
you're gonna
gavel,
get it. One
if I
day
get
you're
the
gonna get
gavel,
it.
it'll be something else. So there's always something.
Well, I appreciate your time, Michael. I really do. Stick with me after we say goodbye so I can
Yeah,
have a minute with you. But I hope everybody, that isn't following, I hope everybody goes and checks you out. You have amazing, amazing merchandise that you're sharing, and you've got great content, and you've been an absolute pleasure to have on here. Thank you
thank
so
you very
much for
much.
your
Yeah, it
time.
was great.